What's up everyone, June with the Sushi Man, and in this video I'll show you 3 different ways to make the Philadelphia roll. And it's all made from very easy to find ingredients, not to mention it's all cooked. So it's perfect for sushi beginners and young kids. Now I know the Philadelphia roll is far from traditional Japanese sushi, but it's one of the most popular rolls here in the States, and for a good reason. It's just really darn good. Alright, now let's jump right in. So let's start off with our ingredients. First, we'll need some sushi rice. Now, technically, we'll only need about 2 cups of cooked rice to make our 3 rolls. But as I mentioned in some of my other videos, cooking such a small amount can be kind of tough. So I recommend cooking a larger batch and making more sushi with it, or saving it for something else. You can check out my how to make sushi rice video for detailed instructions. Alright, next we have some half sheets of nori, which is dry seaweed. And then I have some smoked salmon. Now, you can use raw, fresh salmon if you like. But I know that high quality, quote unquote, sushi grade fish is not always available for a lot of people. But smoked salmon on the other hand is. And this is the main reason why this recipe is so simple and easy to make for anyone, regardless of where you live. And you want to get the plain, non-seasoned smoked salmon. We'll be using about 6 ounces of this. And this is optional, but I trimmed off the dark parts and cut this into smaller pieces so that it's easier to roll. Okay, next we have cream cheese. And I just use the regular Philadelphia brand, hence the name of the roll. And it's easier to use the block version rather than the spreadable one, but you can use whatever you have. We're also going to need some cucumber, about a 4-inch piece of it. And this is English cucumber, which is what I recommend. You can also use Japanese or Persian cucumber if you can find it. Just stay away from the regular slicing cucumbers that have the dark, thick skin. And we also have 1 avocado. And then we have some toppings that are optional, but goes really well with this roll. Some toasted sesame seeds. And this little guy has made an appearance in some of my other videos, and it's really cool. You just push this button and it automatically grinds the seeds and dispenses it. It's a nice gadget if you like to use sesame seeds in your cooking. Okay, we also have some spicy mayo and unagi sauce. And I have videos on both of these which you can watch with the link in the corner and description below. Now this one is called kizami wasabi, and I love to put this stuff on everything. It's fresh wasabi stems that's been chopped up and marinated. It obviously goes well with any type of sushi, but it's perfect for steaks and other grilled meats as well. I highly recommend giving it a try. And then of course we have some regular wasabi, ginger, and soy sauce. And that's it with the ingredients. Now let's get into our prep. So first let's cut our cucumber and avocado. Now I have videos that cover how to cut both of these for sushi, so if you want a more thorough explanation, then check those out. But here's a quick refresh. With the cucumber, I like to cut them into thin strands. Now, you can julienne slice this by cutting thin sheets and then laying it down and then slicing it up. But I prefer peeling it with a knife and then slicing them into thinner strands. Watch. In the center core part here, we're not going to use since it has all the seeds. Now lay it out and we just cut this into about thirds. And then stack them on top of each other. Then just start slicing from one end to the other. And there you go. Now this is way more than enough for the 3 rolls we're making, and you could probably get away with about half of this, but you can always use it for more sushi or add it in a salad or something. Alright, now let's move on to the avocado. So we're going to use half of this to layer the top of one of the rolls, and then about a quarter of it to put inside one of the other ones. So first we just cut it right in half, all the way around the seed, and then you'll be able to twist it apart, just like this. Now we're going to leave this half aside for now, and with this other half we're going to cut that quarter out. So we'll cut it right in half again by following the seed. And then it should just pop right off like this. Now we'll peel the skin. And then from here, we're going to just slice this into roughly 1/2 inch thick pieces. And that's it. Now let's move on to the cream cheese. And this is super easy. We just open the package, unwrap it, and then we're going to cut this crosswise at about 1/2 inch, maybe a bit more depending on how much cream cheese you want in there. And we'll cut 3 of these since we have 3 rolls. and then we cut each one of these into thirds. And that's it for the prep. Now let's get rolling. Now before we start, just make sure the makizu, which is this bamboo rolling mat, is covered with plastic wrap. Since the Philly roll is an uramaki or inside out roll, the rice is on the outside, which means it will be touching the makizu, and the plastic will help prevent the rice from sticking everywhere. Watch my original how to roll sushi video for more details. Alright, first we'll lay a sheet of nori onto our makizu with the rough side facing up. And then wet both hands and spread it around your palm and fingers. Just enough where it's shiny like this. Now grab a handful of sushi rice, about the size of an apple. And then we're going to spread this evenly across our nori, all the way from one edge to the other. Okay, now we'll grind some toasted sesame seeds on top of the rice. And this is of course optional. Now we flip this over so that the nori is on top. And when you do this, place it so that there's about an inch of space from the bottom of the makizu to the bottom of the nori. This will make it easier to roll. Alright, now for the ingredients. And I'll start off with the cream cheese. And then the smoked salmon. And then the cucumber slices. And try to make sure it's nice and even all the way across and nothing sticking out from the ends. Now from here, we're going to wrap the nori and rice around the ingredients while using our makizu to support and shape it. And we do this by bringing the bottom of the nori to the top of the ingredients first. So use both thumbs to support the bottom of the makizu and then use your forefingers to hold the ingredients in place. Now bring up the nori and rice with your thumbs while gently tucking in the ingredients. And at this point, the ingredients should be wrapped, but this top part of the nori is still untouched and visible. From here, I like to tighten the roll by pulling this top end of the makizu away from you, while applying gentle pressure with the other hand. Now continue rolling by taking this bottom part of the makizu and pulling it away from you. It should kind of just naturally roll onto itself. And then apply some even and gentle pressure from the top and the sides. And then unroll the makizu and you should have yourself an inside out roll. Now take it off the makizu and we'll put it onto our cutting board. Now I like to clean up the ends here a bit by aligning the makizu with the edge of the roll and pushing in on the rice. This will help the roll look a lot cleaner. And do this for both sides. And there you go. Now I'm just going to wrap this for now and we'll cut all 3 rolls after we're done making them. And a little tip here is to use a big enough sheet of plastic where there's about 3 to 4 inches of extra space on the top. So right up here, can be a little smaller than this, but having this extra plastic will help. And you'll see why this is important when we get to the cutting section. Now let's get into our second roll. Now all these rolls are similar, at least ingredients wise, since they're all variations of the same Philadelphia roll. But for this one, we're going to layer the smoked salmon on top rather than put it inside. And we'll also add some avocado to it as well. And I'm not going to get into as much detail again like the first roll, since the rolling part is pretty much the same, just different ingredients. So same thing, the nori with the rough side up, add the rice, and this time we're going to leave this plain, no sesame seeds. Then we'll flip it over, and then for the ingredients inside, we'll put some avocado, cream cheese, and then the cucumber. Now we roll this the same way we did the first one. Now from here, we'll layer the smoked salmon on top. And I have a few of these cut already to about 2 to 3 inch slices. And we're just going to place this on top so that it covers from one end to the other. And then we can use our makizu to shape this, applying gentle pressure from the top and sides again. Now grab a sheet of plastic, again large enough so you have that extra space on the top. And then we'll just set this aside for later. Alright, now onto our third and final roll. This one is very similar to the second one, but we'll swap the salmon with the avocado. So we're going to have a thin layer of avocado on top, and the salmon will go back inside the roll. Now inside we're going to put the cream cheese, smoked salmon, and then the cucumber. Alright, once we're done rolling, we're going to put this aside for just a bit. And we're going to cut this avocado into thin slices so that we can layer it on top. Again, I covered this in the how to cut avocado for sushi video, but a quick refresh here. We're going to peel this entire half, and try to do this without breaking or tearing the avocado itself. It helps to kind of rip it off by sections, smaller pieces if necessary. Now this one has this little brown spot right here, so I'm going to try to cut it out. Nope, fail. So this avo is not the best for layering on top because that spot goes pretty deep. So I'm actually going to see if I can use a different one. Alright, second try here. Nice, that's much better. Okay, so after we're done peeling, we're going to lay the avocado down with the flat side on the cutting board. And then we're going to cut this into about 1/8 inch slices, all the way from one end to the other. And what's important here is to keep the slices together after it's been cut. And the trick is to use this upper part of the knife and slide the tip through the avocado, which prevents it from getting stuck to the blade. And make sure your knife is clean as well. Okay, from here we just simply push it down left to right or right to left, doesn't matter, and then spread it out till it's about the same size as the roll. Now slide your knife under it and very carefully transfer it onto the roll. Be extra cautious when you pull the knife out. And now we'll wrap this in plastic, and using our makizushi we'll apply gentle pressure from the top and sides. Be careful not to do it too hard though, where the avocado gets smashed. And there you go. Now let's move on to cutting all these rolls. So typically with the rolls that don't have anything on top, like this first one we made, we'll just cut it straight up without any plastic. But let me show you how easy it is to cut with the plastic still on. So you want to place the roll just like this, and the key here is to have that extra 3 to 4 inches of plastic on top and leave it intact. So don't cut through this top part. And with the ini udamaki style rolls, we're going to cut this into 8 pieces. And I find the easiest way to do this is to cut it right in half first, and then each side into halves again, and then those pieces into half again. But do what's most comfortable for you. And make sure your knife is clean, and it also helps to wet it right before you cut. So right down the center with the plastic still on. Now this side into half, and then this side. Now cut this into half, half. You get the point. Now lightly push the roll back into place. And this is why it's important to not cut this top part of the plastic. Since this is still intact in one piece, you can easily just pull this off and the plastic will come right off as one nice sheet rather than small individual pieces. And you might find that cutting it like this helps keep the roll cleaner too. So give it a try if you're having trouble keeping your cuts clean, especially with these inside out rolls. Alright, now the second one with the salmon on top, you'll for sure want to use the plastic. And that goes for any roll with toppings like this. Rainbow roll, caterpillar roll, dragon roll. Now, if you really don't want to use plastic wrap, then you can get by without it, but trust me, it'll make it much easier. So same thing, clean the knife, wet it, then we'll cut this one again into 8 pieces. Put it back into place with your hand again. And you can use the makizushi here if you like to reshape it. Totally up to you. And then carefully take off the plastic. And it should just come right off like this in one piece. Alright, off to the last one. And that's it. Now let's go plate these. Now I'm going to plate all 3 of these on one big plate, but of course you're free to do however you like. And now for some extra toppings. And this is optional of course, but again, this kizami wasabi is amazing with any type of sushi. And this spicy mayo and unagi sauce combo is super good and extremely addicting. Don't say I didn't warn ya. So this original one, we'll just keep it plain and simple. And on the second one, I'm going to add some of this kizami wasabi on top. In this last one with the avos, we'll dial up some spicy mayo. And then a light drizzle of the unagi sauce. Yeah, there we go. And then can't forget the wasabi and ginger. And look at that. 3 very similar but different ways you can enjoy a Philadelphia roll. And the best part is that you can get these ingredients anywhere. So try them out and let me know which one you like best. Alright, good job guys. Another roll that you could put in your sushi arsenal. 3 technically. Now, if you want to learn even more about sushi, then be sure to check out my book, How to Make Sushi at Home, a fundamental guide for beginners and beyond. It's packed with recipes just like this and tons of other sushi knowledge. So whether you're a home cook that wants to level up your culinary skills, or your dream is to become a professional itamae, this book will expedite your path there. I'll leave links in the description below for those that are interested. And now that you know how to make these awesome rolls, it'll be that much easier to make this fancy caterpillar roll with the video right over here. Okay, that's it from me. As always, feel free to leave any questions or comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Arigatou gozaimasu.